It's almost like,
Do you call them leathers or pants?
well, we used to call them leathers. Now they're called kit. I got my
Right.
race kit.
Okay.
They
I
changed that to
I still call them leathers, man.
yeah, that's because we're old.
Yeah.
Nelson Kennedy turned pro. Also, he was 5'10". He was 20 years old at the time. So you can see, man, that B Pro was stacked in 1984. And
Okay.
then Timmy Brown.
Do you remember our
Timmy Brown.
last video
Yeah.
where I couldn't think of who that guy was with the mustache in the GT
Yeah.
ad? That was Nelson
Yes.
Kennedy.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we figured it
I
out.
said DD Leone, and you're like, no, dude, he writes for Redline. Yeah, I meant I was trying to think of Nelson Kennedy. Yeah,
You were close. They were both the same age, both racing
close,
pros.
close. They both
Very,
rode
very
BMX
close.
bikes.
Yeah, I only raced NBL for a short period of time, only because our track operator got the bright idea of us turning NBL, and then we switched back to ABA. There was just really no tracks or nationals that were on the West Coast. NBL is more that way. East Coast or whatever. So it didn't really work out. I mean, I like the race format of the NBL. I think it's race every moto. There's no transfer system thing, and I kind of like that because, well, yes and no. I don't know if you've ever raced total points versus you qualify out. You race total points. You're going to race all 3 rounds, including the main. And then in transfer system, you can finish first in the first round and just be done and wait for the main. So the problem with that is you get cold and stiff waiting to race again. When you're doing all 3 rounds, you get more track time and you're warm, you're ready to roll all the time. But it also takes away the nerves, man, when you transfer out really quick. At least
Well,
I thought so.
that's a misnomer because I raced both ABA and NBL. Because in Azusa we had an ABA track and an NBL track. They were about 2 blocks away from each other. But
Okay.
if you were on an ABA gate and there was only 3 or 4 riders on an ABA gate, you were racing for points anyways. No one was transferring out. You had to race all 3 motos.
Yeah,
So
total. Yeah.
yeah. So it was both, and in my area, that was not uncommon where there was no, there was no transferring out. You race all 3 motos. But yeah,
Let me get you.
international, absolutely.
Let me get your opinion on this, and this has always been my opinion. It's if I race local and I'm only racing 3 guys, right? Versus I'm racing 6 to 8 guys. I feel like I was always faster in a big group. I don't know what it was in the big group because you're pushing to get ahead of everybody a little bit harder. At least maybe it might be mental for me, but when it was like 3 guys and we're just wide out, it didn't feel I didn't have that same sensation, and I felt slower. And I don't know how do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, and if you had a good lead on the guy in second, you just sat down and turned around and looked and watched him behind you, or the guy in second or the guy in third knows that he's
Yeah,
got the third, so he coasts across the finish line and looks back at the guy in fourth. So yeah, it eliminates some of the competition, but I guess if you're tired and you're in the lead, then that's a good thing.
yeah.
So if you're in fifth or fourth place, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, if I go into the moto sheets and I only see there's a couple guys, I've got mixed feelings. So I go, well, it's going to be an easy day, and then I think, oh, it's going to be kind of not as fun because racing a bunch of guys is a lot of fun. It's a little more
Yeah.
dangerous, but it's a lot of fun. And
Dude,
also,
I was watching a podcast with somebody, and they turned pro because they needed was it on the Dirty Knobs where they were telling a story about they needed a third pro to run a pro gate, and it was like 17x. He said, okay, I volunteered to become pro. I thought that was kind
yeah,
of funny.
that's a hell of a
I'll be pro today,
yeah.
so you guys can have a class.
Yeah. Hey, that's we're about done with this magazine, but I was going to bring up one other thing about the racing format is the one thing I really, really think that they should bring back is the trophy dash. Because as I've been watching all these old races, there's always a trophy dash. And they take, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, put them all on the gate at one time. And I guess that's kind of equivalent to a pro-am is today, because, you can do 14 and over pro-am, 16 over pro-am, whatever. But I like the whole concept behind the trophy dash. It's just take all the best of the best for the day and just let them kind of go at it. I think it's just an interesting concept because I don't know. I know age has a lot to do with it. You know, a 13-year-old is not going to beat a 17-year-old, but in today's sport, man, I don't know. These kids are fast, so I think
Dude,
it'd be interesting.
I was talking to Justin Shepard about
Uh-huh.
this, and we were talking about trophy dashes, and I asked him. I said, "Dude, I've never even seen a trophy dash. I've never been in a trophy dash. What the
Mhm.
hell is a trophy dash?" Because they were
Yeah.
talking about bringing a trophy dash to Dirty Fest next year, and I was like, "What the hell is a trophy? I don't even know what that is. Is it like an open?" And he
It,
goes, "No, no, no."
it,
So the trophy dash is whoever wins class for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is that how it works?
yeah, yeah. They take the older experts and they do one race for the cash or for the trophy, I should say, trophy
So
dash.
what age groups do they normally do?
When I was watching some of the Jag World Championship races, because there's a lot of those on YouTube, it appears to be anywhere from 12 to 13. I'm going to say probably 13 years old and up. So all the different expert classes and up. And so it was weird. I saw one in particular which it was strange because they had all these factory dudes at in the 82 Jag World Championship in the trophy dash, which included like Richie Anderson. All the big dudes were in there, right? There was one guy that was like a 17 novice in there, and he got in it somehow. And he ended up getting like, I think, second or third because everybody fell. So you just don't know what's going to happen in these
Dude,
scenarios.
I thought I was bad. I thought I was a 16 beginner, a 17 novice. Holy shit, man! That dude waited a long time to start racing. I mean,
Yeah,
I thought
definitely.
I thought I had the record, but a 17 novice. Wow, that's old.
Yeah,
Unless he was sandbagging.
which is possible. Based on his writing style, I wouldn't think so. I watched that video really closely. I go, yeah. I sat there and I was thinking, what would I be thinking if I was this guy? You know, I got all these factory dudes, all the guys that are in the magazine surrounding me, and I'm like a novice. You know, I mean, you just embrace it, I guess. You're like, well, shit, I'm just going to do the best I can, and he did. He
Yep,
finished pretty well. And it's
yep.
somewhere in my videos. I'd have to dig it up, but
Oh,
anyway, man,
nice,
I
dude.
took up an hour of your time, so I appreciate you
Dude,
chatting.
this is what I think this is my favorite one that we've done, and I want to thank everybody that stayed with us and watched. And the one comment that we have, thanks a lot, Marcel Lima. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. As the host of the BMX podcast, I do appreciate you coming by. If you think that I'm doing a good job, subscribe. If not, subscribe anyways. And don't forget to check out Danny P. What's your channel's name again?
Danny Pena, BMX Racing.
Danny Pena BMX Racing, and he will go through the magazines from cover to cover, page to page. I mean, he even reads the table of contents, for Christ's sake. Good, very, very thorough stuff. Danny, I appreciate